Hello, you guys, and welcome back to Books by Brit TV. I'm your host, Brit, and today marks day one of Vlogmas. Yay! So, I've always wanted to do Vlogmas, but I never committed myself to recording and uploading every day. However, this year, I've committed to doing it from December 3rd today until December 24th. I'm going to record and upload a video every day. Now, excuse me. Full disclaimer, I do work from home and we're in the middle of a pandemic and it's cold outside. So I may not have as much vloggy footage, but I'm definitely going to be recording some hot stuff for you. Like I got a couple of story times I'm going to be recording, a couple of hauls that I need to record, do a couple of get ready with me's because your girl's trying to get into makeup, talk about perfume a little bit. But yeah, I have some pretty fun stuff in store for Vlogmas of 2020. However, the first thing we're going to do today is we're going to be talking about Where the Heart Is by Billie, right? And it's an Oprah book club pick. So initially I saw the movie for this first when I was like 12. The same people who gifted me the first 4 books of Harry Potter later on gifted me this movie featuring Natalie Portman and Ashley Judd, Stockard Channing, and Keith David. And I didn't know it was based on a movie until years later, until I was like a freshman in high school, and I saw it in the library, and I was like, I wonder if this connected. And lo and behold, it was. And once I read the book, you know how it is. You read the book, it's like, dang, the book's so much better than the movie. But I wasn't that upset with how Where the Heart Is came out for the movie. What really upset me the most was that they didn't show a lot of the minorities that was very present and prevalent in Novalee. God, Lee, that's like a tongue twister. That was prevalent and present in her life. In the book, they didn't show them in their expanded roles in the movie. They condensed their roles or gave them to other, gave their lines to other people. That was a biggest flaw I had with the movie, right? However, let's get started. Talk about unlucky Sevens. An hour ago, 17-year-old, 7 months pregnant Novalee Nation was heading to California with her boyfriend. Now she finds herself stranded at a Walmart in Sequoia, Oklahoma, with just $7.77 in change. But Novalee is about to discover hidden treasures in this small Southwest town. A group of down-to-earth, deeply caring people willing to help a homeless, jobless girl living secretly in a Walmart. From Bible-thumping, blue-haired Sister Thelma husband to eccentric librarian Forney Hull, who loves Novalee more than she loves herself. They are about to take her and you too on a moving, funny, and unforgettable journey to where the heart is. And that it did, right? So Novalee, because I could talk about this book on and I'm going to try to give y'all a little condensed version of it. Novalee, she is heading to California from Tennessee with her boyfriend, Willie Jack, right? And they're going out there because Willie Jack's cousin has a job on the railroad and he feels like he can help Willie Jack to get a job on the railroad. And so, it's going to improve their life because currently Willie Jack is unemployed and Novalee is working at a diner next to the trailer that she and Willie Jack is staying in. And on their way there, they're in this old raggedy, I think Plymouth car, right? It doesn't have a floorboard, so she takes off her shoes because she's pregnant and the shoes are hurting her. The straps are hurting her feet. She takes off her shoes and she takes a nap. And when she wakes up, she looks behind her and see the shoes bounding down the highway. And she looks over at Willie Jack and she tries to get him to laugh, but he doesn't laugh. So the baby heart starts beating, and she takes his hand and places it right over the baby's heartbeat, and he say couldn't prove it by him, blatantly lying. And so she see a Walmart, and she tells him she has to use the bathroom, and that she need a couple of dollars to buy some shoes, right? Because her shoes is up the street. And while she's in there, when the lady tells her change is $7.77, she runs out the door because she just knows that Willie Jack has left her, right? And the reason because she's superstitious of sevens, and the reason she's superstitious of sevens is because when she was 7, her mother ran off with Fred, the umpire a baseball umpire. Excuse me, golly. And when she was in the 7th grade, a friend of hers stole stole from an ice cream truck and was sent away to girls' reformatory school. One night at the diner she was working at, a regular went crazy and cut her from here to here and required 77 stitches. So your girl Nova Lee does not do sevens at all, right? And so she doesn't have anywhere to go, and she ends up living in the Walmart. But while she's there, she meets a nice young lady named Sister Thelma Husband, who mistakes her for another young lady. She meets a photographer, Moses Whitecotton. He's a black guy. Excuse me, let me check this out. Excuse me. She meets Moses Whitecotton, who he's a photographer. He tells her that when her baby's born, to bring the baby to her to take a picture. She meets Forney Hull, the librarian. She meets a young man named Benny Goodluck, who gives her a Buckeye tree. Who else? Yeah, so those are the people that she meets while she's living in the Walmart. They don't know she's living there, right? But secretly, Forney, he's a librarian, right? And she and Forney meet because she doesn't know how to take care of the tree that Benny Goodluck gave her. So she goes to the library to find out about trees. And that's how her and Forney's friendship begins, right? But he follows her and comes to learn that she's living in a Walmart. And the night she goes into labor, he breaks down the window so that he can help her deliver the baby, right? Now, after she gives birth, she meets her best friend, Lexi Coop, who's a nurse at the Walmart. Not at Walmart, excuse me, at the hospital. She meets her while she's up there, and they become friends or whatever. And she just, after she has the baby, you know, it's a media circus. So her mom finds out about the baby. Mind you, she hasn't seen her mother in 10 years. So her mom comes to the to the hospital and takes all the money that she's given, all the donations that they give her, and tell her that, oh, I'm going to get us a place to stay and I'll be at you tomorrow. But she never shows up. Eventually, Sister Thelma's husband shows up and brings Nova Lee and her daughter America's home with her. Now, she gave the daughter a strong name because Moses Whitecotton told her to make sure the baby has a strong name. So she named her America's Nation, which I thought was the cutest. That name. And who else had a beautiful name to me? Ursula Sunshine Assad. Now, her story, of course, it is tragic, but her father named her Ursula Sunshine because he wanted her to have the initials USA. I always thought that was a really cute, nice little touch. But yeah, now Nova Lee eventually ends up going to college for photography, and Moses Whitecotton takes her under his wings and teaching her the art of photography. Beautiful story. She and America's are the daughters that Moses and his wife Certain, that they lost years ago. Really beautiful story. And Benny Goodluck, I don't know if I said this in the beginning of the video, but Benny Goodluck, he was a young Native American boy who gives her the Buckeye plant, right? Beautiful story. Now, Willie Jack, he left her, right, basically on the side of a road. He left her at that Walmart. He eventually gets his because the car breaks down like a day or two later. The car breaks down and he tries to, he's caught inside of another car with this young girl who's robbed her job at the diner, and she tells the police that he did try to rob the diner, and she's a underage girl, so he's sent to New Mexico State Prison. So yeah, he left her in Oklahoma and he's caught in New Mexico. So he's sent to New Mexico State Prison, and while he's there, he is beat, raped, everything. But the not the librarian, was it the librarian or the nurse? She takes a liking to Willie Jack because he looks like her son, and she buys him this guitar and pulls all these strings because Willie Jack wants to be a singer, so that he can be polished up, right, so that he can sing. And he sung at rodeo, a couple of proms, a couple of funerals, right? He was doing his thing, but he get his dessert. So I'm glad they beat him at the funeral. I mean, they beat him while he was in prison for what he did in Nova Lee. And two, he gets a record deal when he get out of prison, right? But the first week, all that he does is have sex and eat fancy, and then after he's down to no money, he don't even call Claire, the lady who helped him out while he was in prison, until he's broke completely. And by then she's disconnected her phone number. He can't get in touch with her, and that's when he finally goes to look at record to try to get a record deal. And eventually he gets one of his songs, Soars to the Top. It's called Beat of the Heart. But Claire Hudson had a trick up her sleeve. She had the song copyrighted in her son's name, so he loses everything. And the lady that actually helped him, Ruth Myers, he screws over Ruth Myers, so she snatches everything under the rug from him for screwing her over. So he gets his, but I was so mad at Willie Jack throughout this book. I wanted to beat him up so bad for leaving Nova Lee on the side of the road. And they was traveling on Nova Lee's dime. It was her check and all that was in his pocket that he was using to travel with, right? And then another thing about Willie Jack, Nova Lee was thinking he was going to work at a railroad, which was true. But Willie Jack's cousin cut off a finger, and this is the 80s. And he received a settlement of like $140,000. Plus he was getting receiving a settlement of $800 a month, right? And so Willie Jack studied his fingers to see which one he didn't really need that much and decided that he didn't need his pinky and was going to go out there and cut off his pinky so that he didn't have to work. So he was going out there on the false pretenses anyway. I hated Willie Jack so bad. I'm telling y'all, I did not like Willie Jack. Eventually, he loses his legs because he gets drunk and passes out on the railroad tracks and swoop, legs gone. But yes, you guys should definitely check out this book. The movie was a fair adaptation, but one thing, like I said, I didn't like about the movie was that there were a lot of minorities in the book, you know, Native Americans, Hispanics, blacks, people they didn't show in the movie in the expanded role. Like, she and Moses were really good friends. She actually stayed with Moses after the hurricane came through. Not hurricane, excuse me. The tornado came through and killed people that was around her. She went to live with Moses Whitecott and his wife. And that's where Americas and Mr. Sprott went to live. And the Mexican family, the Ortiz, they were the ones who brought her like a crib and food and receiving blankets when her and Nova Lee came home from the hospital. So that's one thing. And Benny Goodluck, of course, the guy who gave her the Buckeye tree that was talked about so prominently in the movie, was given to her by the Native American boy, and they didn't put that in the film. And that was one thing that I didn't like. Like, it was a lot more minorities that they didn't have in the movie that they should have, right? But other than that, I think that the movie was a solid adaptation, right? I'll give it 9 stars out of 10. I would give it 9 stars. The book, of course, I would give 10 stars, right? And I actually got to meet Billie Letts probably, I think, in like 2000 and it was in my high school years, right, when I was staying in Jasper, Florida. But I did get to meet her, and she was the sweetest person ever, right? So anywho, you guys, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Make sure you go up and pick out Where the Heart Is. And if you don't want to read the book, you should definitely pick up the movie featuring Natalie Portman and Ashley Judd, because it was a really good movie. I could watch the movie again. Anywho, you guys, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!